today is the day of reckoning. Today is the day that we take the little S10 apart, dismantle it, cut it down into pieces, do whatever you got to do to put it into the Sonoma. However, I do have a buyer lined up already for the rolling chassis. So I don't want to gut it, I just need to get it down to where the motor and transmission's out, and I can do all the other arrangements with the new truck, all the wiring and stuff. So I don't want to do too much damage, but at the same time I need it to be, I need to gut it. So I got all the mulch out of the back. It actually raised the truck up. So one of the people asked, why don't I try to keep the truck? Well, this tire is literally sitting, when it bounces, on that fender. This tire is miles away. So this is actually pushed all the way in. Let me zoom out here. This is pushed all the way in, where the other side, the tire is actually sitting out. And that happens on both front and back. So there was damage to this vehicle before I got it, and when it was hit, it made the damage that much worse. Remember when I tried to go get it aligned, they had a heck of a time aligning it because of this driver's side front tire wouldn't, I don't know, what's that called? Caster camber was all out of whack. And they finally got it to align, but it still sways real heavy back and forth. So, yeah, some pretty big issues. That is the main reason why I'm not rebuilding it. I'm not just putting a bed on it. So, yeah. Oh, there we go. It took me about 4 hours or so. Get the entire engine out. My baby. So now I'm going to take off all the accessory drives, see if I can get the new one, the factory one, to fit on it. Other than that, I am in debate. I do have a spare short block right there. Nothing wrong with it. I could, you know, put it back in, start it back up, and sell it with a V8 running S10. Or I have interest already in selling it as a roller, and they will do everything else. So either which way, I'm good to go. Alright, that's what's left of the truck after disassembly. As you can see, it's just not much to it. So this one right here is going to go in the shop right now. Get rid of this little 4.3 liter V6. And let's input this 383 in it, shall we?
And use the catch pole to grab onto Lucy when she was...
There we go. The final resting place for this engine combo. So how I like to remove engines is I save the hood till last, because I hang a light bar on the hood. That way I can see everything I'm doing beforehand. And then once I get everything disconnected and ready to go, then I'll take off the hood, take off the front, and pull everything out at one time. That's just my preference, but that's how I'm going to do it here. I like to start at the bottom and work my way up. So that means draining all the fluids, transmission, oil, rear diff, because I'm going to be working on the rear diff, welding up the axle studs or axle housings, taking off the drive shaft everywhere. So that's what I like to do first, and then from there, while the car's in the air, I'll start, you know, pulling wires off the bottom of the motor, everything I can see from down here, getting it done. and then I pull the car down and work going up. If it is your first time pulling an engine, 4.3 liter engine out of the S10, a couple things to note. It is easier to pull your entire fuel system than it is to try to disconnect all this stuff on the back of the motor. So just 3 little connectors compared to a whole bunch of crap. Also, when you pull your motor forward, you're going to have a grounding clamp here, a ground here, a ground that goes to your firewall, oil pressure sensor, a plug for your distributor, and there's one more, which I don't remember what it was at the moment. There's one more back there that was hiding. Oh, there it is. Knock sensor. So, yeah, be prepared that you have some hiding back between the firewall, and it's a pain in the butt to get to. But I found out once you pull the motor forward about a couple inches, you can easily access them to get everything off. And what I did is I'm only using basically the alternator and the AC pump. I went around and cut everything off that wasn't part of the AC. I put a little blue tape on it. That wasn't part of the AC or the alternator. And this loom did go across the top of the motor to go into here. And then hide the wire down underneath, kind of like what this is. Hide the wire, come under, and come up and over. And then extend the 2 wires that I need for up top, alternator and AC. Extend them just to where I need it. So now that I've de-loomed what I didn't need, basically, like I said, I cut all the ones off, and then what I did here is I just snipped them all here. Now my goal today is to de-loom all of this, and each one of these I'm going to cut up close to the very top. I mean, completely get rid of it, because these can short circuit against each other and I don't want that. So once I make that loom, next I'm going to have to do is take off the ABS, get that completely out of the way, and rerun either a new brake booster, smaller, or just rerun new lines over to a proportioning valve over in this corner. That might be my better option. And then once I get that done, I still got to drill a hole through the firewall down there. Another thing I like to do when I tear everything apart is clean. You know, I don't know the previous owner's cleanliness about parts. You know, it's just been, this car had over 300,000 miles on it when I bought it, which is a lot of miles. So I don't know if the previous owner changed gear oil, or if he just replaced gear oil. Did he clean anything out? So I'm gonna get in here with a brush and a whole lot of brake cleaner and just clean everything, and then dry everything off with the compressed air or the air gun, and yeah, seal it back up and put in new fluid. I do have to say that it is incredibly harder to get the engine in here with all the factory stuff. I ended up taking the power or the ABS out and using the same bracket to mount the Sniper 5 box Hyperspark. I'm gonna put the coil, I'm thinking, right here somewhere. The radiator, there's like a 2 parts up on the top side. I ended up cutting it out all the way down, so it actually folds back, and you can see right here how it kind of comes back out, but it doesn't hit nothing. So that, and down here it does. This time I didn't go for prettiness, I just went for form over function. If it was there, it's there, and it is completely locked in. All I did was just use a little clamp and then 2 little tack welds, and it holds it up top. Same thing on the bottom, 2 little quickies. So now I just got to mount the coil and yeah, wire it in. I also noticed that the throttle is longer than, yeah, the throttle is definitely longer than the throttle is longer than the cruise control. So if you see here, you know, that's really long and this one's really short. So I already made my bracket. Ooh, that's still hot. I already made my bracket to go here because I assumed they're going to be the same size. So I have them exactly the same size. However, they're not. So I am going to end up cutting this one here up, bringing it forward about 3 or 4 inches, and then remounting it. And that way I can still use my cruise control. Other than that, it has definitely been a lot harder than the last one. Last one, I gutted it, put it in, really no issues at all. This one has not been that easy. So here's a little update on the build. I got the engine in the new truck with all the accessories on it. The AC sticks way high up above the core support. However, I'm using a cowl induction hood and it falls right inside the cowl induction, so I'm good there. So one of the things that I do have issues with, you remember me saying before that I was just gonna bang in the valve cover, but I don't have to. I ended up putting 3 little washers in there. Gets me up just a hair instead of banging, and I got the clearance. So no need to beat and bang. I also had to go get a 1/2 inch longer belt because of the spacer, so that's the belt I used. But other than that, everything's going along. Now I'm doing wiring today, and I'm hooking up the fuel injection. Hopefully this will be our first start. After getting everything in and fired up, I found that we have a major tick knock. I think something has fallen into the engine during the process of the swap from the white truck to the black truck. I'm not sure what it is, but unfortunately I have to pull everything back out to get the heads off to find out what damage has been caused. I went out last night and I bought new heads, new head gaskets, new ARP bolts to hold everything down. Yeah, I just went out and bought everything new, just to be on the safe side. Worst case scenario, I have another 350 in the shop I can put them on if there is no damage, but I'm pretty sure with the sound I'm hearing there's going to be some damage. So that's going to be the end of this video. The next video you see will probably be me pulling the heads off of this and finding what has gotten into it. It sounds like maybe a little bolt, 10mm bolt somewhere fell into it, but I have always kept the pull plate on when the carburetor or when the fuel injection was off. So I don't see how that happened, but it's gonna have to be pulled back out now, and I'm dragging my feet. I don't want to do it, but I have to do it. So Till next time, thanks for watching.